Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here with consideration about a small rocky island, a cold small rocky island. Sounds like someplace maybe up near Alaska, and in fact it is almost wholly above the, well, it's above the average latitude of the United States. So it is northerly compared to where most people in the United States live. This cold little rocky island is the origin of the lingua franca of the world today, the language that everybody speaks, the common tongue, like Latin used to be in the Middle Ages and then in the Renaissance more particularly. That's what English is today. Little teeny rocky island has imposed its will on South Africa, Australia, India, large chunks of the Middle East, America, and quite a few other little spots around the globe, hasn't it? Canada. Now this shouldn't upset multiculturalists. We should all be, we should love English, because it's, like I said, it's the native tongue of a small island people, a rocky little island people, right? Interesting fact when you stop to think about it. And the fact that a little teeny spot of civilization called Rome would end up giving us the language that is to this day the language of science, right? You name a new species and you give it its Latin name. Well, this thought comes from America Alone by Mark Stein. Quote from page 6, "Why is this book written in the language of a tiny island off the coast of northern Europe? Why is the English language of why is English, the language of global business, of the internet, of the paramount power of the age, and of dozens of other countries, from Belize to Botswana, Nigeria to Nauru? Why does Canada share its queen with Papua New Guinea? Why does a quarter of the world's population belong to the British Commonwealth and enjoy to one degree or another English common law and Westminster parliamentary traditions? Why are all these values out there in the world, including the English language if you consider it to be a value?" And it's not because the English sat back and said, we gotta take care of our own and defend our borders and stuff. No, they said, we have a better system. And if we can make money spreading our system, which is better, all the more. And some of them did it to spread the system, the imperialist British expansion. Some of them did it to spread the system, some of them did it to get rich, some of them did it for both. Some of them just went along and took their orders and never gave it three thoughts. But interestingly, you don't make a very big splash in history if you are content to sit behind your borders and do nothing, let the rest of the world do what it wants. People say, let Iraq choose their own government, right? This is bizarre. Germany chose Hitler. It didn't work out. We chose Saddam, I'll give you that. I know that we messed up the first time, but the lesson with Saddam and with the crap we were doing in Iran up till 1979 and all the other things, the lesson with that is not to use dictators to try to get what you want. You have to use freedom, and remember that no two democracies ever went to war with each other. So, democracies don't fight, or constitutional republics don't fight. It's worth spreading the American system. We have to step up to bat. The English have stepped off. We are their son that's grown up and now grandpa's senile. It's up to us. And we can't say we're going to let everybody in the world choose their own governance, because some people are no good at it. And the governance they choose isn't good for them, and it's not good for us, which is more to the point. Especially if they live in an oil-rich country that's going to be messing with the price of oil. Whether or not the oil gets shipped to America is no concern. It's the oil going on to the world market or not. that can cause the price to raise and fall. People don't realize that. It's not like we took over Iraq to ship oil back to America. The oil just needs to be sold onto the world market, period. Not simply because if it's sold to someone else who needed oil, it's easier for America to get it from wherever else. So, a little bit off the subject there, but back to the point of America in the Middle East is the same thing that Britain was doing on the east coast of the United States back when it wasn't the United States, back when there were just a handful of colonies here. And the same thing that it was doing up in Canada and Australia and South Africa and India and wherever else you want to name, dozens of smaller places. Why is the common language of the world the language of a small rocky island people off the northern coast of Europe? Interesting thought. If they can go and go as far as they didn't do what they did, what can America do? I think we might be able to hold this world together for another 100 or 200 years if we do things right. We'll see. But one of the things we have to do is realize that our governance, our system of governance, and our values are worth spreading. McDonald's is nice, we can export McDonald's, but we need to export constitutional republicanism too, not to do anything to do with the Republicans today. The idea of a constitutional republic, that needs to be exported. A secular constitutional republic, not integrated with the state like we're allowing the Iraqis to do if they please. We need to do like we did to Germany and Japan, to many, many other countries, and it's going to have to be done time and again every time one of them threatens or coerces or damages us, or threatens or coerces or damages one of our allies. And hopefully we'll be able to create what Britain was able to create from 1815 to 1914, the Pax Britannica, the peace of Britain, while the world was at peace under Britain's visage, or homogeneity. And the Pax Romana, which lasted for 200 years, starting I believe in 98 AD, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. And we haven't had the Pax Americana yet. It could have been said to be the Cold War, right? From World War II on, there were quite a few wars. In fact, there's been more people killed since then than in World War II. So, we'll have to wait for the Pax Americana. But we're not going to get the Pax Americana by going in and doing what we did after World War I and setting up countries and letting them vote on their own little dictators. And that didn't work in World War I. We ended up going back to war again. What we did with Germany and Japan in World War II was much more effective. And if we want a Pax Americana to come, and if we want to continue the roaring thunder of the British success so far, then we need to take more of an attitude that our way of life is valuable and useful, and imposing it on other people is a value to ourselves and a value to the people on whom it is imposed. Just look at Germany and Japan today. Very wealthy, successful countries. No worse off because we imposed this system on them. So, buck up and let's be imperialistic.